Hi everyone! So today is March 1st, and what March 1st is in South Korea is a public holiday. But what does it celebrate? It celebrates the March 1st independence movement against the colonization of Japan. So here in Korea, we call March 1st 3.1절. Japan colonized South Korea from 1910 to 1945, so around for 35 years. Because Japan's an island and Korea is a peninsula that's stuck to other continents over here, Japan's plan was to use Korea as one of its doors to expand its empire. During those times, that's when a lot of Koreans were oppressed to use the Japanese language. A lot of sexual slavery happened, as well as just slavery, where a lot of Koreans were kidnapped and taken back to Japan's coal mines or other mines that would help build this empire. And finally, in 1945, Japan surrendered when it was defeated during World War II. So today actually marks the centennial. So exactly 100 years ago from today, oh, this feels a little bit, Korean ancestors back then all poured out into the streets, and it was one of the earliest form of non-violent protests in the world. So it was when everybody went out and waved Korean flags and said 만세, 만세, 만세. I remember when I was young and I was visiting my grandmother said some words that I think are remnants from the Japanese colonization period. And maybe she doesn't know that she was using it, but when she was in a hurry, she was like, Claudia, go bring me some tamanegi. Tamanegi? What is tamanegi? Oh, that doesn't sound Korean. What's tamanegi? And later on found out it means onions. And then once my grandfather was like, hey, can you find some sumekiri for me? Sumekiri? What's sumekiri? Sumekiri. Guess what it is in Japanese? Nail clippers. Sometimes I would hear people also say okane, okane. I don't know why they always do that when they say okane, but okane means money in Japanese. So I've actually brought some words that were used prevalently. Prevalently? Is that a word? Guys, I have this problem. I keep on making up English words and it sounds like legit English words, so my brain keeps on thinking it's okay to use it. Prevalently. So I brought some Japanese words that were used very often until I think a lot of Korean news and Korean programs on TV also came up and educated people on that the words that they were using unconsciously, subconsciously, were actually Japanese. So here are the 5 words. Nashi. I've heard a lot of people, even including my mom, use the word nashi. Like, oh, go and get me some nashi. And nashi is a Japanese word meaning sleeveless shirts. So you know those tank tops? We call them nashi. But in Korean, apparently it should be minsome. So minsome means without sleeves in Korean. Number 2, when I was younger, I heard older people use this word mai, and it means like a blazer. And I thought it actually came from an English word, but mai is a blazer that a lot of middle schoolers and high schoolers wear on top of their uniforms. Apparently mai comes from the Japanese word kata mai. Oh, this is another one. So I actually thought this was a Korean onomatopoeia. Is that right? Is that how you say it? Onomatopoeia. Onomatopoeia. 땡땡이. 땡땡이. And it means dotted patterns. Like it's a pattern with a lot of dots on it. 땡땡이 actually comes from the Japanese word tenten. Tenten means a few dots. My Japanese, I don't know any Japanese, so if you guys want to correct me, please feel free to give me any feedback in the comments below. But it comes from the word tenten. This one was a word that I used when I was younger, and I actually thought this was totally Korean, but kanji? Kanji? So when you think someone's wearing something really nice and chic and cool, you'll be like, 우와, 간지난다. It's like 간지난다 means, ooh, you look very cool and stylish. Kanji comes from the Japanese word kanji, which means to feel, apparently. So I think when it crossed over into the Korean culture, it sort of started to mean like, ooh, I like the feel of what you're wearing. So that's why we say 간지난다. I know this word is used in the broadcasting industry a lot. I've heard so many producers use this, but waku. And waku means frame in Japanese. And exactly it's that meaning that producers use in the broadcasting industry when they say, oh, when we're all brainstorming an idea for something, they will be like, waku를 잡아야 돼, which means we need to set up a frame, or we need to set like the basic outline. To make things clear what Germany was to the Western world, that was Japan to the Eastern world. So you had the Nazis and the Holocaust and all those innocent Jewish people dying in the Western world. And Germany knows so well their history of what they did and the traumatic events that happened when those in power, they tell you what to do, and if everybody follows it, that's what happens. They don't question what those in power told them to do, but they were like, oh, we just did it because those on top told us we had to do it. So this is not to say hate on Japan, I hate Japanese people, I hate Japan. No, I love Japan. I love traveling there. I have so many Japanese friends and I love Japanese food and the culture, and I think kimonos are very pretty. But the thing is, every time I speak to a Japanese person or even to my Japanese friends, no one actually knew what went on during World War II, or if Korea was colonized, or if sexual slavery or slavery happened during those colonization period, or that Korean people had to be brutally beaten up every time they spoke their own language and had to be taught Japanese from a very early age. It is a very painful history for Korean people. So sometimes I wonder why Germany is able to say, yes, that happened, we were really bad, and we will make sure history never repeats itself again, while Japan's government keeps saying, hey, let's forget about it, come on, we gave you all the compensation you guys needed, let's forget about it, let's stop it, I don't want to hear it anymore. Like, it might be a very cultural thing, and maybe for Japan it's a painful history as well, because the World War II also affected them in a very painful way as well. But the thing is, you cannot erase the fact that Japan, to expand their empire, were the ones that attacked all these countries in Asia and the Pacific. And this is why I think history is so important. Okay, let's say 200 years from now, and nobody in Japan knew what went on in history and how Korea had been colonized and how so many people died, so many people were kidnapped to be slaves and sex slaves. History might repeat itself. And the whole reason I think I learn history, I write diaries to look back into my past and reflect back onto the past, is to learn from them and be a better self today. I also feel like if I'm in that situation when everybody is like, hey, we're going to war, so Claudia, get prepared, you're going with us. And if I was the only one in that country that knew it was wrong, I feel like it will still be very difficult for me to speak up and say no, because they're gonna kill me and torture me and like take out all my fingernails and toenails until I scream to death. Ugh, sounds disgusting. I would of course want all my friends and everyone around me, at least my close circles, to say no together. And knowing that I would have that support, of course, would give us the power, me the power, to say no to war, no to a bad future. Anyways, I hope this was an informative video for you guys. If you guys have any comments to say, you want to correct my Japanese or my Korean, I don't think my Korean's that great either, or you have something to say about your painful histories from wherever you're from, please feel free to leave me in the comments down below. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in my other videos. Bye!